we doing here?
We are doing dead bug dyes. We are doing insect dyes from period. This is lac. It is from Southeast Asia originally. And these are all pH dyes. So we're gonna make. Okay, everybody got one in there?
Yep.
So this is American cochineal, which is a scale insect that lives on prickly pear cactus.
Nice.
And this has been in production for millennia in South America. And then when Europeans first found America on their own maps,
stumbled across.
Yeah, there you go.
So is this something that we found in the southwest of what we call the United States?
This was production cultivation levels from South America all the way through the southwest of North America. Anywhere a prickly pear cactus grows natively, this was grown, and it was heavily produced. All of those beautiful red textiles from the Incas, this is what was used to make it.
Perfect.
The magic part. So that red lac we just put things in, this is a pH dye. We're going to turn it purple with baking soda. They use chalk and other such things to turn it purple historically.
Woo! And purple meant you were really wealthy in Europe in these times, but so you're telling me a dead bug and
there is instructions in ancient Rome for taking your lac and adding potter's chalk to it to make fake Tyrian purple.
Oh yeah, Tyrian purple. That's what I was thinking about.
You can find them just by searching for either Italian or Spanish or English, like 16th century clothing. It's
Hello, what class are you teaching today, Your Excellency?
We were working on 133 today, one of the very earliest fencing manuals known.
Ah, a fencing manual.
That's why we're using very simple swords and just straight up simple bucklers.
Okay, thank you.
This is all the swords they would have had in the day.
Perfect.
You get to inspect.
You got to do this.
Mask.
I have yet to find a ghost.
In the air-conditioned hall.
A bake sale.
If we're this far apart, I'm not even
You might come up to about this point and then we'll go.
Yeah, okay, agree.
That's part of the challenge, is getting into the right distance.
Stop it.
Yep.
You can do that, or that's a different motion entirely.
Unfortunately, it's on a foot right now. So my other one, of course, is front. A lot of people don't see the low shot in my area. If you do this and come in, a lot of people are like,
So our counter for that is you come in low.
I come in low, so you come in low.
Come in. Forward recovery. You want to pass in that forward recovery or just the forward recovery? Okay, so we'll talk about
Now, those are the two ways I know to come to attack and erase your wall.
So for me, coming, instead of coming around, there, now we're in your pocket.
Ah, man. Yep.
No tricks. Not immediately. If you run into a problem, I can share. But right now, this is very much a let's try and actually get thread into fabric.
Thread into fabric.
Rather than me just lecturing you.
Should we start
Hi, Esyul. Hi, Thorvey.
In the corner of your ground fabric. You can find that by running it through your fingers, and one direction is going to feel slicker than the other. Going with the grain is going to help you cut down on knots on the back as you pull through the fabric.
Oh, so it does.
So I start with maybe 2 feet.
Various forms of counter thread embroidery. I usually start out with, about that long because I have a very long reach, among other things, and I'm used to it at this point. I've wrangled too much for it.
He has a website that he shares his redacted patterns and everything. So this is a pattern that I have used at least 3 times.
Oh, I've been to the Victoria and Albert Museum in London.
Yeah, the Poland area. and there was a woman known as either Elizabeth or Mary of Hungary. She married a German knight, and he and his sons died in battle. And she was a very passionate patron for Saint Francis of Assisi. She traveled to Italy and she became a student, essentially, of either Saint Francis or Saint Clare, one of the two. And since she is technically from Hungary, she would have brought this style potentially with her into Italy. And so it's a very large conjecture that the way Italians know Hungarian point is because of this connection to Hungary.
That makes sense.
Can I throw in an alternative?
Please, absolutely.
The Anjous from France.
France, yeah.
Joanna of Naples was the reigning queen of the Kingdom of Naples, and her background was from the Anjou, but the Anjous also became kings of Hungary. And there was a lot of back and forth between southern Italy and Hungary because they were related. And also into the Angevin, and forth between these different. The Provence area was also owned by the Anjous, and southern Italy, and they had a branch of the family off in Sicily for a while. They had another whole branch that was like kings and queens of Hungary, and they kept trading back and forth, and they would send each other kids, to raise, in the style that they did, and they kept a lot of it in the family, and a lot of import back and forth between those areas happened. And of course a lot of that schlepped by way of Croatia and Venice, because once you get over the Alps from Hungary, you pretty much wind up in some piece of Venice, and they wind up charging a carrier rate anyway, so you had it going through there.
Silk never knots.
Almost never. I said almost never.
Okay.
But,
Well, I bet you don't have knots because you're experienced at this. How are you? Had a good day at university? What class did you take?
I took the Viking bobbing weaving with Joran.
Oh, okay. Yes, you'll get a hug.
At the University of Atlantia involves, if you come often enough, there are degrees to be had that we award to students and teachers. We have quite a number of people who have attained their degree as of today, as of the last university.
So, bachelor's degrees are awarded to folks who have done 26 hours of study at the University of Atlantia. The recipients of bachelor's degrees for session 116 are Dorothy of Notting Hill Quill, who I think is
Sorry.
Edith of Winterton, Enchantadorea Pluma del Dragon, Ernamani, Gabriel Leosan, Draina Ingen Obroligen, Hawesia, Hedy, Hillary, Yvonne Mezzi, James the Archer, Jasper of Hartshorn Dale of Wolfhound, Jenny Trent, Joel, Kate Tatterskirt, Lewin de Partone, Maisie of Black Diamond, Slynia Ingen O'Shaughnessy, Thora Greylock, Virginia of Wiltshire, Countess Yasmin Farah.
Congratulations! Juliana Stanice! Milan! Well, Milan! She pre-registered.
From the 116th session are myself. I also did not pre-register. Master Oswin of Batham, Vani Bedia, 117th session are Virginia of Wiltshire, Huamelan again.
Fellowship.
And also Owen Carleon again. Master's degrees are awarded to those who have completed both a bachelor's and fellowship and have done an additional 10 hours of classes plus taught at 2 additional sessions. The master's degrees from the University of Atlantia are Elizabeth Despalding, Chris Kosterev, and William DeHurst. And from the 117th session, Kian McCallahan O'Dovlak. Those are our master's degrees.
Those who assist at online sessions.
Wranglers.
And they are one of the bulwarks of how online sessions are a success because they provide tremendous support to all the instructors.
Done 3 sessions for us, helping out as TAs and tech support, etc. From the 116th session, Christina O'Cleary, Olaf Jean Kilmany.
Even the retired kids were pre-registered people.
17th session, Beatriz Alauras de la Hoya and Katrina Engen Fergus.
Doctor. Those 2 people who have served the university in exceptional capacities over time. I have the pleasure of announcing 2 today. The first, Maestra Nicolosa.
So what did she do?
She has taught and organized classes. She has been tech support for us. And she has done so with grace, goodwill, and energy, and we are deeply grateful.
Find a bibliography for the class and a PDF. As much as we've held up classical descriptions of the Celts as blue-painted folk, the actual evidence of that is inconclusive. I'm interested in some papers about it. They're listed in the online bibliography, but these are 2 that I find are really useful for this topic. One describes the non-native presence in the Iron Age English archaeological record, and the other talks about and how they would have done it.
The German manuals like Meyer talk about binding and keeping, right? And yeah, and so your opponent can be strong in the bind or weak in the bind, right? And that feeling gives you more information and ways to react and things to do.
We start with our reverenza. So left foot forward, back, up, down. So now we're in our stance. We're going to do 2 spezzati in the wheel, so rotating around that common center. So left, right, left, right. 2 more spezzati to turn over the left shoulder and face your partner. I'll sometimes also call this a counter circle because it's a lot shorter to say. So you're going to do a counter circle. So you're going to turn over your left shoulder. So you're not facing your partner. We good? We all made it to this point.
Voting has begun.
Yeah, want a little
Sure.
thing on your cheek?
No.
Where do you want it?
Maybe on my hand.
Your actual final budget. I like the budget in place when the bid goes in because that is your event budget.
But they're mostly not demonstrating. They're mostly practicing.
Mrs.
Chip carving.
Okay. Nice. This is beautiful stuff.
That's probably.
What time period is this again?
Most of the resources that we find from museums and everything else is in the 13 to 1400s, but the style for 23 BCE in Israel, in bone.
Carlin.
Carlin of Eastwood.
Of Eastwood. And
Yep.
which barony do you live in?
We live in the Canton of Moorhaven in Hidden Mountain. The class is on your first leather pouch. This is an example of once you learn how to do all the different kinds of stitching, what you could make once you know how to stitch a basic leather pouch. And I'll be doing future classes as well on more advanced techniques, including adding rivets, adding buckles, things like that.
To the outside and then pull the strand back through. However, we decided that doesn't make sense for a lot of people, especially native English speakers. We don't have that word thumbing. So it doesn't matter which side you start on.
One side is 5, one side is 4, and this is, which class were you teaching today?
This is Finnish lattice braid.
Lena of Caramere.
Yeah.
Lena of Caramere.
Okay, it's like I start with a length of wire. What I'm about to show you is how I make the end piece that caps on here that will help us do the rest. Because then once that's built, then we'll have our tool to
go with tooling leather and buy your leather dye. So, for your pouch, there are 2 basic ways to make a simple drawstring pouch. Number 1, you cut yourself a rectangle, you fold it in half, you put your holes, and then you sew, turn it inside out. The other way is you decide on a shape. You cut one shape, and I usually go with this kind of like wine glass shape, for lack of a better way to put it. Cut one out, use it as a template for another piece, cut that out, and then you just sew all, put good side into good side in, and sew all the way around.
Knitter's Pride or Knit Pro.
I heard something totally different. Drew's first pair of thigh-bonds I bought him.
Yeah.
4 pivas away, running away wherever she would like. 3. Person 2, you are going to follow and end up on her right. And person 3, you are going to follow with 4 pivas and end up on her right. Person 1 is going to... Yep, exactly. And then we take hands all. Yep. And then we're going to go backwards a double. We are going to go forwards a double. Praise the left, or praise the right, and then turn single over your left shoulder. If you're